Holy, who's the Bane Bomb now, Batman? Tiki here, and I am watching through each and every episode of Batman Beyond for the first time. Dragon, tell them why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way, but that was the past, and we must now enter the Batman's future.
And tonight we are talking Season 3, Episode 12, the penultimate episode of the season, not the penultimate episode of this show. I want to make that very clear as Dragon is stressed, but the penultimate episode of Season 3. Countdown, yeah, and Dragon, I gotta tell you, this one kind of, it really slid under the radar for me to kind of become surprisingly one of my favorites of Season 3. Like, I don't think it's like a top-tier heavy hitter in the grand scheme of things. Like, if we were to rank all the Batman Beyond episodes, I don't think it would, like, rank in my top 5 or anything like that. It's not like a Mount Rushmore episode. But I gotta tell you, man, this one, for being a crossover episode, for not having a lot of DNA of Batman Beyond as far as, like, there's no Max, there's only a little bit of Bruce Wayne. I had a lot of fun with this episode. I really think that Batman Beyond and the Zeta project, like, I gotta tell you, Dragon, I think I am kind of interested in doing a full watch of the Zeta project, because I kind of dig the whole, like, Terminator mixed with the DC Universe vibe that show's got going on. A little bit of Men in Black thrown in with good measure with the other side. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of on board for this. And also, maybe the best Mad Stan episode? Maybe? Yeah, I like this quite a bit, Dragon, surprisingly.
All right. So, a bit of context here. So, this episode was directed by Kuyong Wan Lim, who did a number of really good episodes, like Where's Terry? I love Where's Terry.
Of course.
Did Payback, did Betrayal. The writer on this, we had 2 writers on this. I believe the one who, this one's kind of interesting. So, I believe the core writer on this was Rich Fogel. Now, again, Rich Fogel sometimes kiss of death on Batman Beyond, as we've learned the hard way. But in terms of the good episodes he's done, The Winning Edge and Rats, which introduced Mad Stan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where things kind of come full circle. So the other writer on this, Paul Dini, the wonderful Paul Dini, who
the man, the myth, the legend himself, probably the GOAT as far as Batman writers go.
Unequivocally, this is the last the Batman Beyond episodes that he wrote, which were few and far between, but in total you had Rebirth, Out of the Past, The Call, and of course Return of the Joker, and now this. So
you know what? Out of all those, like, I think this is definitely the most light out of all of them. But I still think it's got that Dini charm going on, man. I really do. I think it's got that Dini touch just in the quality of the character interaction.
Well, it does, and we'll get into that. There's a lot of Dini-isms in this episode, which I'll highlight. But my point is, here's why it's interesting that Dini's on this. So Dini came up with the idea for Zeta, but he gave it to Bob Goodman, and Bob Goodman ran with it, and he then...
I remember that, yeah.
That's the thing, because Dini basically had the idea, like, what if we had a robot who committed a crime, and then just he committed the crime thinking, this should make me feel good, but I'm just kind of numb to it. So it's basically a robot with an existential crisis, but he kind of hit a dead end with the story, but the idea of the whole existential kind of crisis sort of thing kind of gave Bob Goodman some ideas, and Bob Goodman, then you'll notice he kind of stopped writing Batman Beyond episodes because he went on to his own show with the Zeta Project. So, speaking of which, the studio worked on this, of course. Tiki, not just Coco. I want to emphasize that. Not just Coco.
Okay.
A little bit of Dong Yang. And it goes a long way.
Little splash?
Little splishy splash of Dong Yang. But a very key... Talk. I want to, yes, a little ticky-tock, my friend. I want to emphasize the importance here, Tiki, because you've seen, and we'll get into this, this episode was had a companion with the episode Shadows from the Zeta Project. Now, that
Indeed.
episode was animated solely by Coco.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Now, and they're fitting the art style of the Zeta Project, but that in mind, you'll notice there is kind of a difference in quality there. So a little bit of Dong Yang goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to say that. Right? So we're not just throwing Dong Yang in there for giggles. No. Dong Yang serves a purpose.
It's like the difference between regular coffee or coffee with an espresso shot.
Yes, and we know how Terry likes his espresso. Well, he likes a cappuccino, more accurately.
Okay.
Anyway,
all right, so we got some comments from the always on point Code Geass. He says in the thumbnail it looks like Matt Stan is flipping off the other character. I don't think he's flipping him off, Code Geass. I think it's even funnier that he's just giving all the other characters a nice but stern finger wag. Like a don't do that.
I mean, it's a middle finger in ultimately what he's doing, but not an actual middle finger.
Dragon, did I ever tell you? I'm sure I brought it up at least once. Do you remember Roger Ebert's wagging finger of shame?
I think you brought it up once.
So he would do it like every once in a while in like the Ebert and Roper era of the show when he wanted to shame either like the MPAA or like film distribution companies over like a grievance. Like, for example, there was a movie that was by all means a family movie, but it was rated PG-13, and the MPAA was like, hey, Roger, you can't promote this as a family movie in your review. And so Ebert went on and he gave a wagging finger of shame. So I imagine that Mad Stan is also giving a wagging finger of shame. All right, I'm done.
But recently, actually, speaking of which, the MPAA, they deserve a finger wag of shame because poor Kevin Smith, he submitted a film and they didn't give him the rating he wanted.
Oh no.
And that's the thing, like Kevin Smith's always been able to talk down the MPAA, and this is like the first time they've actually just didn't. And it was a thing where I don't know if you've heard the story. It's even this thing where they just in very casually in conversation with Kevin Smith said, "Well, yeah, we don't think you're wrong at all, but it's just kind of we can't give you the approval on this." It's like even they don't want to give them like the R rating for a very PG-13 movie.
All right. Code Geass also says, "I want to believe that Bruce is such a big fan of Batcave Beyond that he put an advertisement for it on Terry's hero costume."
Well, Superman has the S on the cape, so why not?
Right. Tonight's episode is so forgettable. I don't even remember watching. Yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of the vibe that I got from this episode. Is that it's kind of like, if you're not into the Zeta Project already, like I imagine that this isn't really all that talked about in the grand scheme of things. Hence my surprise that he joined it as much as I did. Code Geass really quick. He's also saying, I don't know if it's just me, but even though Matt Stan's a recurring villain, I don't remember his role in the series. I equate his role in the series is basically Batman Beyond's version of Rhino, essentially, as far as just being the muscle.
Yeah, no, he's the running Spider-Man gag villain. He's like it's like okay, everything's calm and tranquil, and there's Mad Stan chucking grenades.
But Dragon, personality-wise, I think I came up with a better comparison through this episode. I think you might like this. I honestly think that Mad Stan is kind of like the more palatable version of Frank Miller's All-Star Batman.
It's funny. I had a different comparison for this episode because I saw the documentary on him recently.
Okay.
Well, not recently, probably a month ago. Recently, he's basically Alex Jones with grenades.
Oh God! Oh no! Yeah. Yours is more accurate. Yeah. I can't fight that one. Little Blue, no, I have not seen the online Superman pictures. Dragon, do you know what he's talking about?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I know absolutely what he's talking about. I've been trying not to look at too many of them, but I've caught some glimpses of some of them. And
I'm kind of in the same camp where it's like when stuff like that gets posted, I try not to put too much stock into it.
Just I
like to go into things like I'm not one of those people that's going to just like avoid trailers outright. But I like to, I don't like to kind of like oversaturate movie marketing for myself. Anyways.
I mean, one nice thing though, one thing that had me tickled pink, and that is in relation to the DCAU. Rachel Brosnahan Lois wearing purple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, we also got, I have not watched it yet, but we got the trailer for, what's it called, Dragon?
Red one?
No, I'm sorry, the new Batman series.
Oh, yes, Cape Crusader,
Yeah, thank you. We got the trailer for that, which I'm sure we'll talk about on Memoirs, folks. I have not watched it yet. Anyways, all right, Dragon, back to the action here.
Okay, so this is an event crossover with the Batman Beyond spinoff, the Zeta Project. Technically, this episode, production-wise, was the last episode of Batman Beyond, which is kind of interesting when you think about it in that context, in terms of like how they're making it, because this is like it's another potential finale. Because for me, it feels like the call should have been the finale, the season finale, which ultimately the series finale. Is what it should have been. Again, even though basically, if we were going to be stuck with an ending, it feels like the call would have been the way to go. But this is another interesting out because this is very much a passing of the torch where the Zeta Project ran for 2 seasons. It started season 1 with where season 3 of Batman Beyond was. So in that respect, at least right now, the crossover we're at right now is like episode 8 of season 1 of Zeta of the 2 seasons. So it is very much like, here, you run with it now.
And Zeta Project is pretty much like a Batman Beyond sequel by all intents and purposes. Yeah.
So with that in mind, it's possible. They could have it would have been another respectable out. They wouldn't have made sense.
We'll see how the actual final episode stacks up. Well, the season 3 finale, Dragon, as you keep stressing.
Last episode, but not again, folks. We know it's the last episode officially of Batman Beyond, but again, we're covering some of the other appearances after that. So they're definitely relation and definitely canonized to the DCAU take on Batman Beyond. Trust me, everyone knows what we're talking about. I just don't
all right.
Get into it. Anyway, so a few other things. So basically the way this worked, Tiki, is on the same night. I'm pretty sure like on the same day, same night, probably back to back, like a block of some kind on the WB. Well, not night. I guess it was more like Saturday morning. you had the Batman Beyond episode, and you had the Zeta Project episode. It was April 7th or something. It was 7th or 21st April, 2001. The episode premiered. Same day, and again, it was actually reversed in the wrong order because everyone knows who Ro is. That's how you know it's like this one came first. So this one comes first, and then the other one does. You want to split hairs; it doesn't like 100% line up, but it's kind of arbitrary. It's 2 shows going production. This is before we're in the era of the Kevin Feige planned out like these events happen. Then we don't have a timeline yet.
You know what? I'm totally fine with it. It's like basically how this thing plays out. It's like Batman at some point has come across Zeta again. Yeah. That's all we need to know, really.
That's all you need to know. All you need to know is Zeta came. He was introduced in Batman Beyond. Ergo, he knows Batman, and that's all you need to know. So, and this does kind of track with like where the Zeta Project is going by episode 8. So he's looking for basically his the guy who can exonerate him is Dr. Selig, who is very much like he's a big key character. He's the guy who created Zeta. They're looking for
Dragon. So dare I say, is he Zeta's non-biological father? Oh my god. It's just a gift that keeps on giving this month.
But seriously, he's they're trying to exonerate the whole point of the Zeta Project is it's a parody of it's kind of a futuristic nod to The Fugitive, which we all love.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I got. Yeah.
And the idea is like
a little bit of Terminator thrown in.
Well, that's the thing. So it's kind of Terminator mixed with The Fugitive, and essentially, they're hunting. The NSA's hunting him down. They think he's gone rogue in reality.
Also, can I just say the agent chasing him down is named Bennett? Mm-hmm. Do you know why that name is kind of amusing to me?
Because you're thinking Bennett the Sage.
No, Dragon. No, I'm not thinking of Bennett the Sage. I'm not that obsessed with deep lore channel awesome stuff.
Okay. What?
I'm thinking of
Don't say Tony
I'm
Bennett.
thinking of Bennett from Mr. Bennett, Noah Bennett from Heroes.
Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right,
who's
yeah.
also kind of like a shady government agent guy who may or may not be on your side.
It also helps that they wear distinctive glasses.
Exactly, yeah.
Not horn rim, but
Seriously, Dragon, this Bennett guy is probably the reason why I would be interested in doing a full Zeta project watch. His characters are rather compelling to me. I'm pretty
Tiki,
drawn to him.
please do tell me you recognize the voice of Agent Bennett.
Oh God, okay. I'm gonna take a guess, and it's probably gonna be wrong. Okay, please don't fucking crucify me. I'm gonna be proud of myself.
I have the nails. I have the nails handy, but go on.
Okay, Dragon, is it Christian Slater?
All right, Tiki, march up there. Get on the plank. I got the nails. I'm gonna hammer them in there.
Oh,
God, are you kidding me?
Who is it?
Slater. Oh my God.
It
No.
sounded vaguely Slater-esque.
Oh, it sounded vaguely Slater. Like, did it? No. No. Tiki, Kurtwood Smith.
Oh, right. I should have known that. We've already gone over that, and this is also gives me even more ammunition to watch this damn show.
Yep.
I love me some Kurtwood Smith. Okay.
Kurtwood Smith is great. He is wonderful. Here's the thing. He was not the original Bennett in Batman Beyond, but when they did the Zeta project, they recast him. It was an upgrade.
Oh, nice.
Did a great job, and he's very much like he is the co-lead of that show. He's the one going after him, so it's very much Bennett.
It's almost like a Tom Hanks and Catch Me If You Can kind of vibe.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that you could also look at like the movie version of The Fugitive, but yeah, like he's the Tommy Lee Jones. But yes,
yeah, that's fine.
So the point being, again, the whole purpose, the recap, the whole premise of the Zeta project is Zeta's trying to clear his name with the young girl Ro that he kind of comes across, and trying to find Dr. Selleck, who he created Zeta, who can clear his name. And Bennett's chased him along the way. Who like, I don't care. He doesn't care about the details. And that's essentially it. Also, they recast the voice of Zeta. We went from the wonderful Jeff Bennett to the other wonderful Diedrich Bader.
Yeah.
So funny. We went from it's funny. We went from Hardak. We went from Hardak from the Answers. Well, essentially Hardak, I guess I should say. Well, it's like the point being, I'm trying to think because I think we also used him in the Batman for the parody of Hardak too. Dave, I forget if we used like Jeff Bennett for both roles or not. I might be thinking of Dave from the Batman. The point being, we it's the fact we have a robot who essentially was voicing the Joker in Batman: The Brave and the Bold to the guy actually played Batman in Brave and the Bold. So Diedrich Bader was introduced yet again through Batman Beyond.
Yep.
And yes, as Code Gas Anime Fan points out, the other thing I wanted to mention too with all of our Batman connects here, Kurtwood Smith, he did voice a really great Commissioner Gordon in Beware the Batman.
Nice.
I think technically Lieutenant Gordon in that, but yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
on to the episode then?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. We are starting things off with the aforementioned Mad Stan at a convention of sorts. Dragon, you want to set the stage here? You probably can better than me.
So we're at Gotham University. They're hosting the science symposium there this year. All the technical innovations, and point being, scientists are gathering here is basically what is on like the old stock ticker somewhere. Mad Stan crashed it in an awesome way, and this is great. This Mad Stan, he appears on like a screen, like ranting and raving again, very Alex Jones with grenades-esque here. Henry Rollins always doing a great job. Just like you're a button-pushing society. You're a push-button society, and he blows up the screen that he's
Honestly, I think this is the type of character where it's almost kind of like ahead of its time as far as like just how much this character would come to reflect a certain subsect of neckbeards on the internet.
Yeah. But still, I love the fact that he's on the screen, he blows up, and he walks right through that screen. That's an awesome introduction.
That is a cool entrance. Yeah.
See, like technology.
Any type of entering through the screen, gimmick stuff, I'm down with.
It endlessly entertains me when you think Henry Rollins, voicing Mad Stan. He goes from Mad Stan
Oh, I
to
know, right?
Zahir from Legend of Korra.
Exactly. It's
This
crazy.
calm Zen-like, monk-like kind of a bad guy, versus technology's made your head soft and your body's weak.
I mean, really, they're both two kind of like examples of like extremists, but like polar opposite like personality types.
So that's the other thing. Okay, so with the Dini-isms in the writing, Dini is having a lot. You can tell Dini's writing the heck out of Mad.
Oh, he is. I feel like he knows that this is probably the last time he's going to get to write for Mad Stan.
Yep.
So he's just like pulling out all the stops. Like Dragon, it's basically if like Stan Lee was writing this character in the 60s, just all the puns are coming out in full force.
Only solution, blow it up. Blow it all up. God. I just love that's his catchphrase. No, seriously, it's like Mad Stan's catchphrase. Blow it up. Blow it all up. All right, so Batman enters, with a great line like, "How do we make our cappuccinos?"
That is a really good bat entrance. And you know what, Dragon? Again, it's kind of like the running gag of season 3 where it's like the melding of Terry McGinnis with a little bit of Raw Unstoppable, like working his way into the character. The two are becoming one Dragon.
It's Ron Stoppable with an edge.
Exactly. I love it.
All right, so in the fight, there's some good fight stuff going on here. Batman saves some folks from a giant rolling globe, basically like that scene from Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
And Mad Stan escapes. He escapes while he's doing that. Meanwhile, Zeta, it's basically so Zeta's regular look essentially is that guy. He shows up. He does transform every episode, but they have to.
You know what? I'm actually like I remember when we first went over the Zeta project, and I found out that he was he had a human design for the show, and I wasn't really down for that. I gotta say, just watching one episode, I think it really does work. And I think it works better than if he would have just been the robot for the full season, because I think it kind of grounds him a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, I think it's like a balance of he is still changing in other people, but he has a main identity, and that's kind of that guy.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So anyway, Zeta and Ro, the young girl that he travels with. What do you think of Ro?
I mean, honestly, I don't have that much of an impression of her so far through the 2 episodes I've seen, but I like her from what I've seen. She seems spunky enough. She seems like, kind of like a stereotypical 2000s spunky female sidekick protagonist. Nothing bad, but nothing I haven't seen before.
All right, anyway, so they're going to the science symposium to look for Dr. Selleck to clear Zeta's name, which has been kind of a big plot up to kind of the big white whale plot up to episode 8 so far of the Zeta Project.
Mm-hmm.
He expects to run into an old friend. Who's the old friend? Batman. Rose oh man, I don't believe it. Yeah. Meanwhile, Bennett in the NSA again. Now Kurtwood Smith. Again, Tiki. It's Kurtwood Smith, okay, not Christian Slater. He's not the guy from Mr. Robot.
Okay, Dragon, thank you.
Okay, but again, that's KS, not DG too.
Oh my god! All right.
I don't want you getting confused on me, okay? All right, because DG, that's Dick Grayson.
I love how much conviction you put into that. That's Dick Grayson.
Yep, Dick Grayson. He played Robin, and Robin ended up becoming Nightwing.
All right.
Nightwing's the one with the mullet and the all black costume with the blue bird on it. Okay, so we're just gonna move on from that. Anyway, so they tracked him. They've ended up tracking Zeta here. Now they have these cool goggles that can. I believe this is also a thing they have in all the Zeta Project episodes. They have these cool goggles that can see through the hologram, which is not.
That's a really cool technology. I really kind of dig that. It kind of gives the opposition a little bit of an upper edge in the camouflaging. I don't know, man. Again, the more and more I see about just the real building of the show, I'm kind of interested to dive into it a little bit.
Oh yeah. So at the end to say, As we hope they are not in real, they're not like in real life. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know between Dean and Richfield. I don't know who's saying what here. The NSA very reckless in their pursuit of Zeta here. Just like like just a lot of you saw the thing like they're cutting off cars, causing car accidents, and throwing and firing missiles at them.
They will find the Avatar. God damn it!
That they will. All right, so this is great. So Mad Stan, he was just making his getaway in his big honking truck, and he sees that feds. Oh man,
it's the feds, man.
So the feds, so again, the NSA here, they hit Zeta with an EMP device, which basically knocks him out. Mad Stan, this is a great plot twist. Oh god, I love this. And Mad Stan saves what he thinks is a poor schlub. You're getting his human rights violated.
It's very much like a rescue of convenience to a certain extent, because the only reason Mad Stan does it is because he thinks it's going to give him some sort of political not brownie points, but kind of it's going to make some sort of political statement.
Yeah, well, we got to remember too that Mad Stan does like a lot of the compelling bad guys in quotes. He doesn't he doesn't see himself at all as a bad guy. He sees himself as a vigilante trying to.
I'm sure Alex Jones doesn't see himself as a bad guy either, Dragon.
Oh, we know for a fact he doesn't. Oh, he just sees himself as the poor bearded man on the stand.
Yes.
I'm just trying to sell my supplements. Why is that a crime?
Meanwhile, you have Vera Farmiga just looking on with sympathy, like, "Go get him, Alex."
Okay, don't do that. That's too.
I'm sorry.
That's too. Don't. Like, that guy's done some bad. Don't lump poor Vera Farmiga in with that guy. Come on.
Okay, well, what about just Norman Bates specifically? Norma Bates, I think, would be
maybe. I don't know. Still, I think Norma's got taste.
Fair enough.
Okay, the point being, just Mad Stan, he thinks
that's what I get for trying to make an Alex joke.
No, you're. I think tempting, but it's like
All right.
It's like that guy, like she's a mother, like that she wouldn't. Oh God.
Okay, just one last thing. Just like Alex Jones, could you imagine the seething hatred that Norman Bates would have for Alex Jones?
Yeah, now you found it. Yeah. You struggled for a while, but you
Dragon. I think Romero and Norman Bates would actually team up to take down Alex Jones.
I can just imagine. Oh, okay, real quick.
I knew this was worthwhile.
I can imagine just Romero's walking up to him doing kind of like his, the seething nice guy kind of thing. It's just, yeah, is that how you feel about it? No. They just put him in his.
All right.
Okay. Anyways, a Mad Stan saves him, thinking this guy's getting his human rights violated. Like, this is exactly the kind of thing he's fighting for. You're going up against the man and technology and all that. And I love the bitter irony that like Mad Stan is in a position where he's helping a machine. So I love that. Honestly, a part of me, I can't really take away from where the episode goes, but the episode does feel, I don't know if thin's the right word, but it's very simple. It's very direct.
I think there's a difference between thin and simple, though. I think this episode is simple, but I think it's very digestible. Use for it.
Like that's the thing. Like I have no issue with how we do this episode, but it always is like that thing of like there's such the best part of the episode is Mad Stan with Zeta, and it does make me wish we had more of that in the episode. Like maybe Mad Stan would reconsider things a bit, but then again, if he does that,
it does kind of feel like there is potential for a full episode of like an odd couple team up between the two. I will give you that.
Yeah, you kind of want it to be like that episode of the X-Files, like that landed Cranston Breaking Bad, where Cranston seriously Cranston plays like that bigoted kind of like the racist guy, and like during the whole episode. And
I'm sure I've heard about this before, but it totally passed me by.
Yeah, this is the whole reason
he got look it up.
Yeah, like Gilligan did that episode, or at least he worked on that episode with or wrote that episode with Cranston. Basically, it was a thing where he played like this unlikable character who's in a very sympathetic position.
Interesting. Interesting.
I forget if I think the idea is he has like either a bomb in his head or he's going to explode, but he's because of like an extra, like an X-Filesy kind of thing.
All right.
Anyway, the point being, just I can see something with Mad Stan where again he has a thing where maybe he doesn't like redeem himself by the end, but he does like there takes a liking to Zeta perhaps or something.
Yeah.
He's like the other side of the argument, but it's not going to change him. Okay, so the point being, power to the people. Yes, that I love that Bennett's like trying to. No, you're confused. You don't understand. He's like throwing a grenade. Power to the people, and you boom.
Right.
So that's a Deanie Selvin episode right there. Like, okay, it's just these.
No, again, I feel like just this episode very much has all of it doesn't have like the contemplative Deanie, but it's got the lighthearted Deanie. Space.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Deanie loves like kind of some broad comedy at times. He also loves like a lot of jokes. Like, for example, we go to Mad Stan's houseboat lair, and we have like the "Have a Nice Day" poster and everything. But I mean, the idea is like Mad. Here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing.
You think he's like just basically trying to like fill his life with positive reinforcement as like a form of therapy, and it's just not working.
Well, this is what I'm getting at. So okay, so Mad Stan, I think technically was is a Rich Fogel creation because he appeared in the episode Rats, which Rich Fogel wrote, and he was the other writer on this. So I want to say Rich Fogel created him, but I mean Deanie is there in the conceptual phase. So I don't know if Deanie maybe threw out the idea for the character and then Fogel ran with it. I'm not sure, but let's say however you want to slice it. We have that, but Deanie it feels like he's adding a lot more depth because Mad Stan's always been like the Rhino gag kind of villain, where he's just been like blowing up.
Exactly.
We've never really seen his home life or seen what Mad Stan really wants beyond just what he's yelling. So Deanie adding all these little personal beats here for him, like for example, to Have a Nice Day poster and everything, that Mad Stan sees himself as a really rational guy who's like has a really positive outlook on life. If only all the machinery would blow up, the world would be a nicer place. Here's the thing, Mad Stan is a people person when you think about it. That's what Deanie's running with here. He's he likes people and he wants people to not be dependent on technology. Mad Stan,
from day one with his character, that right there is basically his MO.
And again, Deanie looking at it and sort of like, and again, I'm not just trying to hoist Deanie up here. This is the kind of stuff that Deanie does. He looks at things in a very different way here. It's like, okay, what if Mad Stan is like a guy we would have, even in today, he's a very relevant character in the sense like he's a guy who would. We have these very like very politico kind of guys who like look back on a simpler time, and Mad Stan is doing that here. He's looking for a simpler time where we didn't have self checkout.
Yes.
Like that's Mad Stan's worst nightmare. He is terrified of self checkout.
I'm terrified of self checkout.
I don't like self checkout. Here's the thing. I'm not terrified. I get angry at self checkout.
Well, I just don't like the idea of it as far as like it's taking away actual people's jobs. That's what I don't like.
Well, you're right about that too. That's not great. I guess ethically, I think we're all afraid of self checkout. But I meant, I'm go with the self check. I'm always ticked off. Like, why do I have to put the items on the stand when I can just put them in the bag in the cart? Okay, why do I have to? There's a little camera in there. You can see clearly it's been scanned. Why do I? Because every time I'm trying to scan it, the thing comes up and it says, put your items in the bagging area. Like, no, just let me scan everything and then remind me that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
So, Mad Stan, we have that, and then we also have his little chihuahua, Boom Boom.
Yeah, Boom Boom has an amazing design. It's like kind of halfway between Ren Hoenn, or is it Hoenn or Hoek Dragon?
I think it's Hoek.
Yeah. Ren Hoek and the Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Yeah.
It's a little kind of cross between those two.
Well, again, like a mad bomber, like Ren Hoek,
Right, exactly.
It's if the Taco Bell dog had a chip on his shoulder. But that's the thing, though. So this is really fun because there are bomb sniffing dogs. So it makes sense that Mad Stan. So this is Deanie logic here. Deanie is an animal lover. So with that in mind, he does. I can bet you all King Midas's silver. Deanie pitched Boom Boom the dog.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Yeah,
probably based on the whole bomb sniffing dog here. Only Mad Stan has trained him to like sniff out technology. So anyway, so that we reveal, the little the EMP device in his back. It gets removed, and we reveal a holographic projector thanks to the dog. And we see Zeta's, his synthoid form, which, by the way, they redesigned for the show, and you'll notice he has a head now.
Oh, that's right. No, I forgot that in the original version he did not have a head. That was not an appealing design.
Yeah, right. So, Rami, you did. I thought you liked. So you didn't like the horseshoe head design.
I don't think I did. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess like you like the head in here. You think it looks like the design of it, like giving him a face.
Yeah, I think it looks better, and like I said, I do like the actual device of having him be human. Having like a main human form, and then other forms he can switch into. I think that's efficient.
I like that the way Diedrich Bader, the wonderful Diedrich Bader, the way he plays Zeta and the way he looks, there's a very C-3PO vibe to him, which I really like.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's like, what if you
mix C-3PO, but with a little bit of a teenage edge to him.
Yeah, like kind of like the Teen 3PO crossed with
Teen 3PO.
Teen 3PO crossed with the T-800.
Yes. Dragon, is Teen 3PO a thing? Is that like a YouTube series somewhere?
It is now.
I was gonna say, because if it's not, then it should be.
And here's the thing: you have like the awkward years where it's like, why am I always naked? Like from the Phantom Menace.
Oh God.
By the way, did you ever check out?
Everyone's nightmare about going to school naked. I live that nightmare every day.
Did you ever look into that Icons on Earth Star Wars thing I told you about?
No, not yet.
Anthony Daniels, he's all over that thing, man, and he talks about the deleted Phantom Menace stuff.
Nice. I do like me some Anthony Daniels.
Well, not deleted Phantom Menace, but the deleted Attack of the Clones stuff. That movie really hurt his feelings.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not nice. It's kind of sad.
Well, no, I'm saying nice as far as like that sounds like something interesting to check out, Dragon.
You're right. So, seriously, check it out, man. You'd love that.
All right.
Okay, so yes, Mad Stan, it's a scam, man, a conspiracy. They're out to get me. So he said, I'm going to outsmart them all. So Mad Stan's got a plan, which you can bet dollars to donuts will involve high explosives.
Yeah, so he basically straps Zeta with a Bane bomb, hence the holy.
Yep. Meanwhile, Ro, she calls the police.
I think this is really clever. Like, this right here is kind of what made me like this character, Dragon. As far as like, basically calling the police over a bullshit thing, but enough to actually get Batman's attention. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Dragon, I have an unconventional Great Conroy moment.
Yeah, me too.
It's a nonverbal one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Conroy like listening in on the radio as Batman's name is being thrown out into the airwaves. Dragon, I don't know. There's something straight up fucking mythic about that idea for me.
I had the same exact thought, Tiki.
Nice. I'm glad we're on the same wavelength about that.
I mean, look, if I can pick a nonverbal one, that is it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it just fits so into like what we dig about the concept of this show.
It's just okay. So Rose calling 911. She basically needs Batman. She lies about it's the Royal Flush Gang. They're targeting City Hall with.
It's basically all of the reoccurring villains from the show.
No, it's even better about it. Like she'll pretty much list like here's all the recurring villains from the show that is for all intents and purposes have wrapped up that we're not.
Right.
Like, think about it, Royal Flush Gang. We saw them break up. Ink. I mean, yes, we brought Ink back for the scene from the call, but essentially like the whole thing with the daughter, with that. And we have and Blight very clearly wrapped up. There's no way it's Blight. So she picked like the three worst possible Beyond villains she could use. It's hilarious. And there's like a gazillion Jokers, which he then wills into existence. But there's like a gazillion.
Yeah, so can we talk about how rough these Jokers actually get with her, man? Because I think it's a little bit shocking, honestly. Like they literally have her pinned down, and then Dragon. First of all, I do like the actual gadgetry of the atomic noogie of it all. I do like that as far as like a gadget goes, but by all intents and purposes, before he says noogie, it basically just looks like he's gonna hit her with a set of brass knuckles, my guy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. For a second there, this scene is pretty implicitly violent.
Well, Tiki, it's funny you mention that. Their workaround for the brass knuckles. We've seen this all throughout, by the way. Is like even like in Justice League and stuff. Is because Batman has a pair of these. It's the taser knuckles. That's the thing.
Okay,
So when you hit them, they electrify. So that's essentially their workaround there.
Like, ironically enough, they would probably cause even more damage than regular brass knuckles.
Well, that's the point. So that's the fun workaround. It's like, well, there are no taser knuckles, so
right.
Yeah. Which I will say this though,
it's
actually,
only a matter of time.
It is. Oh, you're right about that. But still, it's kind of nice though. Like in action sequences in Justice League, when Batman's using those taser knuckles, it is really cool though. Giving Batman like an extra punch when he's like fighting parademons. Anyway,
okay.
But yeah, so she's making the 911 call. Bruce Wayne listening in, so cool. Just the idea that Bruce Wayne is listening in, and like he has like probably like an algorithm or something. And every time like the word Batman is mentioned on the phones, like Batman's always listening. Like
exactly. Yeah.
But it's really sweet.
It ties into that kind of like mythological element of the character that we just dig.
It's just it's something that an obsessive guy like Bruce Wayne would do this sort of thing. It tracks in that regard, and it's also just the fact that it's like Batman won't ignore a cry for help. That's what's beautiful about it. It's like, yes, that's why it's a great Conroy moment.
Hell yeah. All right, we are totally on the same page.
And the fact that like Bruce saves this girl just because of that—that's what's really sweet about this. Okay, so anyway, so she then is accosted by a bunch of jokers. Here's the thing: this always bothered me. It's only this episode, okay? This always drove me nuts. Okay. Now I think because she gets spray painted with like yellow spray paint, the Joker's face paint has like a tint of yellow to it. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's the lighting or if it's actually because of what they spray with. If it's actually yellow face paint. Because one of those Jokers, he's like off model if it's yellow face paint.
No, for sure. I caught that too. It was a little bit like a little weird. I'm sure it bothers you a little bit more because animation stuff like that tends to get under your skin.
But it's like the one time.
Yeah,
It's just the fact that one of those guys is from the original Joker's gang, and like we didn't use like Scab or J-Man again. However, Bruce Timm does voice the Top Hat Joker. He does voice the one who does all the talking and squealing the Batman. That guy is Bruce Timm still.
Nice.
Different Joker, same voice. Anyway, so Ro fights him off again, real rough and tumble that Ro there. She ain't scared of these Jokers. She ain't scared of these clowns. No Jokers. So Batman swoops in, saves her before she gets taser noogied to oblivion. Let's see. So again, I love this too, where he like beat it chuckles. Like when Batman tough talks him, like the clowns actually run away. All right, so Ro tells Batman about Zeta and how he's in trouble, and the mad Stan for it all. Meanwhile, we check back in. Again, this is a Dini cut. Mad Stan's giant truck, like driving recklessly.
Right.
This is really funny to me. I hope you caught this. Running gag: the poor subway guy and the elevated subway guy. Yet again.
Oh yeah, no. I know exactly who you're talking about. I did not catch that it was the same guy.
A very plain-looking guy.
Right. I know exactly who you're talking about.
By Jokers. He's like eating a sandwich and like drinking his coffee while
watching. All intents and purposes, this man really is the Cabbage Man.
Yes, exactly. Just him going like, oh dear, just driving. He's like having like the dual experience, like, oh dear. And Mad Stan rams him off the road and has this great Liz a Dini joke, like road hog. That is Dini to a T. All right, so Mad Stan, he reactivates Zeta and misleads him. Basically misleads him like Johnny Five in Short Circuit 2.
A little bit, yeah.
Yep, like Oscar misleads Johnny Five in Short Circuit too. So it basically says like, oh yeah, I saved you from the feds. Where's Ro? Oh, he's safe. But Ro's a girl. Which I gotta admit, the way Diedrich Bader says that does remind me a little of like Sandy's a girl.
Oh,
a little bit. Yeah, that's what I meant. She's safe. She's hiding from the feds. Here's the address. Just make sure no one follows you. Thanks. And this Mad Stan, it's just great. This Mad, it's just like laughing his head off maniacally as he's driving off and like.
You know what? I will give credit where credit's due. Like, Zeta is just basically saying like that was a nice guy. Like Mad Stan, good at the pleasantries.
Yeah, he was.
I would say that exchange with Zeta would get the Nick Ford seal of approval.
It would. A lot of pleasantries exchanged, and also a little bit of like that. It's a little bit like that gag from Toy Story where Buzz Lightyear is like looking at Sid like about to blow up the combat car. So it's like, who? That happy child? Happy child.
It's a little bit like that. Yeah.
Like laughing maniacally. He's just like, what a nice man, but he really should drive more carefully. He's like scraping like all these cars and like he's turning the corner. Oh. So then we reveal, there's a bomb on Zeta's back and he has no idea, and it's counting down. All right. So, Batman Ro, they're teamed up. They go to Mad Stan's boat lair. He sticks Ro in the Batmobile. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do here while you're gone? So he turns on the radio. It's a good joke. All right. Thanks heaps. So, Batman enters and he triggers the security system. He gets tied up and electrified. Bruce Wayne again. If we had like a verbal Greg Conroy, and here's the sad fact, okay? Well, not sad, but let me put it to you this way. First off, I want to give you a fun factoid about Kevin Conroy here, okay?
Okay.
Because he is in that episode of the Zeta Project as well. Kevin Conroy, I read this somewhere, the only actor in all of the DCAU projects.
Nice. Yeah,
only one who's in absolutely all of the DCAU things that they did. And he's the only one to carry over because of that.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but again, I want to be clear. This episode is part of Batman Beyond, but I think his true Great Conroy verbal line is in Shadows from the Zeta Project, where he has this line that says, "It's in his programming. He was built to kill." So he says that line. It's like, that's a good thing. That's a well-delivered line.
I feel you.
A good dramatic line, from him. So here the closest equivalent we have is like, "Stay sharp." He may have something worse in store up his sleeve. Anyway, so we have this hilarious jump. It's awesome jump scare where Ro reaches out. Very bad idea. Don't never sneak up on Batman, kids.
Right.
Where he kind of reaches out to touch him, and on instinct he grabs her by the neck and he's about to punch her in the face.
I mean, this poor girl really is kind of going through the ringer of this episode as far as the near physical abuse goes.
Yeah. It's like Sally Reed's first marriage, man.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's a little bit too on the nose with what I'm going for, Tristan. Yeah. Jesus.
Anyway, so I told you to wait in the car. Well, there was nothing good on the radio. All right, fine. Just be careful.
You know what? I just want to quickly acknowledge just the humor in how quickly Batman just goes along with that.
I think
it's like, all right, you know what? I acknowledge, yeah, there probably isn't anything good on the radio. That's a fair argument. Fine, whatever.
It feels like the radio gag was Dini, but this him going along with it was Rich Fogel. I'm just going to say that. That's what it feels like. All right, so it's a fun reveal. Mad Stan, he's sleeping. He's completely knocked out. And
this is really fun. Yeah.
Wake up, Mary Sunshine, just slapping him a little bit.
Mary Sunshine, just delightful.
Yep. So he slaps him. We determine that he's been sedated, and I love that Batman knows the dog's name. Oh, that's Boom Boom. So he's Mad Stan's early warning system. They left him a little disc. And I love that he's kind of shoving the dog's head aside, which is grabbing. It's like this It's a little SOB. Just grabs the little disc, puts it in, and then we have this thing. I bet that's for me. The disc plays. Hey, Batman, I hate being right. Just snap the flow of the Paul Dini dialogue, man. That's how you know it's a
No,
Dini.
it really does stand out. It really does stand out above the like. That is exactly why this episode was as like really good and watchable as it was for me. Is exactly that. Yeah,
One could say the dialogue stands out.
indeed.
Yeah. You get it, audience? It's Mad Stan. Okay. okay. So Mad Stan basically he has a pre-recorded villain monologue here about his plan that basically used Zeta as a delivery mechanism for a bomb, and they have until midnight to find him. Which basically 27 minutes. They have 27 minutes to find him. Because it's like 11:33. Like tick tock, man, ticky tock, man.
Tiki talk. That's great.
Yep, and I love that Ro like kicks him while he's asleep, just like, hey, just like she's upset. You put a bomb on my friend, you jerk. Just like, all right. So Batman, he gives her a communicator, he gives her a communication device while he tries to narrow the search with the help of an expert, which is Bennett. He goes to Bennett.
Yeah, this is another thing that kind of pushes the episode over the edge for me. Is it's a little bit of a moral gray area here.
Yeah, well, I mean, Batman, I think his logic is sound here. Like, okay, this guy's we have a mutual goal here. I mean, I'll probably get Zeta out of Dodge with him later if I can, but if I can get this guy like to help me like track down Zeta, like it's a bomb. He's the NSA. Who would let him like bomb Gotham? Now here's the real
but
question.
I really do like that Batman is kind of like taking a risk here, where it's like he doesn't know that he'll be able to get Zeta out of Dodge. I don't know. It's just it's just a little bit of espionage intrigue to sprinkle into the episode. It's just nice
Batman's focus. He does have this ethical thing. Where Zeta isn't technically. I mean, he did trust Zeta, and he did let him go at the end of the first episode. So there is faith in Zeta because he could have killed Max and he didn't, which I think went a long way with him trust-wise.
At the same time, though, I do feel like Terry's dynamic with Zeta, just in general through the 3 episodes I've seen, is very much like like he knows that baseline Zeta is very agreeable and isn't going to do anything to compromise anyone. But he also knows that Zeta, just as a being, as a piece of technology, is very easy to manipulate. So it's like there's always that kind of like, edge of suspicion, not on Zeta's like as a person, but just in his just how easy it is to hack into him. So, there's always kind of like an interesting push and pull with Batman and Zeta there.
Yeah, and again, it's the fact that Batman's priorities right now is stopping the bomb from going off and killing people. And technically, it's that thing where Zeta's not human.
Mm-hmm.
He's a robot. I mean, he doesn't want him to get destroyed, and he wants to help him if he can. But right now, the priority is like...
If his WB wanted to blow up Zeta, that would be just fine with the sensors.
Well, to be fair, even before Kids WB, the blow, you can do anything you want to a robot. That's fine. Anything you want to use was horrible, violent, and that's why we have that Hard Egg episode. You can do, and Captain Clown, you can bash his head in. It's fine because he's not human.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so goes to Bennett, and then we have this other agent, the redhead guy's Agent West, who is voiced by Michael Rosenbaum in this episode and in the Zeta Project. So more Rosenbaum.
Oh man, yeah, he's just like all over. I feel like Rosenbaum is almost kind of like the Ratzenberger of the DC EU. AU.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's the thing. This is them like kind of circling. Man, we really want something great for Rosenbaum, aside from like these 1 episode roles. Like, let's give him the Flash. Yeah, let's give him the Flash. And they did. So, but yeah, he's basically planting the tracker on the Batmobile a little unsubtly, in all honesty, just kind of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but here's a real question: do you think Bennett means what he says here? Do you think he's just saying it so Batman will go and they'll be able to track him for the greater good, or do you think Bennett seemingly doesn't care when he hears about like the stakes here. Like, so the bomb goes off in Gotham. It's like that's your department, hero.
No, that's kind of, you know what? It's interesting that you bring that up because I kind of feel like through that line, I did get a little bit of a Noah Bennett, like, he is kind of like on face level saying that it's his department, but on some level, he's like, he knows he's going to swoop in with an assist if he needs to.
Yep. For sure. All right, let's see. Anyway, so point being, Batman's been sent on his merry way here because now he's on a timetable, and this is like wasted time. And Roe's not happy with him, so unbeknownst to him, Bennett is tracking Batman's like trusting that he'll lead him to Zeta at the end of all this, which is exactly what he wants. Kind of going after the fugitive.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. So Bruce Wayne's read the file. There's a method to his madness. Another good out of context Great Conroy line. I don't know. It's not the Great Conroy. You already know what that is, but it's like there's a method to his madness. Mad Stan's rants are triggered by something in the news.
You know what, Dragon? I gotta just say, I think this whole observation from Bruce Wayne is just like a little bit charmingly like, well, yeah, Bruce, that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just think it's charming. Like, it's almost like Bruce Wayne is a little bit slow on the uptick.
Well, I think it's more so he's I'm gonna trick away his sound bites. It's like literally whatever the recent thing is, that's what triggers the rant versus just him like randomly. So I don't like technology. It's like specifically something like in terms of his targets, like that's what he's getting at. But yeah. So they have 4 minutes. They have 4 minutes left, which, funny enough, is like there's like 4 minutes of the episode remaining. So I like.
No, I do think that this episode does do a good job of like it's not real time. It's not trying to be an episode of 24 or anything, but it does kind of like give a little bit of a realistic time frame to everything.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So. While Bruce Wayne's looking at that, Zeta has this hilarious encounter with the gang of Jokers, where they're accosting him. They do like the whole why the Joker crossed the why the geek cross the road. Anyway, so they attack the robot, and it's just priceless. He lifts him up with ease, and he like spins him around. They end up like when they dogpile on him, he lifts them all up and he spins them off his body like 360 degrees. And in the Bruce Timm voiced one, the top edger, he gets flung off like off the sidewalk, which of course is suspended because it's the future, and he lands right on the Batmobile. Oh, that's Dini humor, right? I'm convinced that's a Dini gag. Just again the whole, hey, if you come near my windshield, you better have a squeegee.
Right.
Oh, if he only knew how wrong he was.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Zeta's heading to the Civic Center. We learn, basically to bomb the Department of Health. I think it's Health. The Department of Health for raising the fee of pet licenses.
And that is a really good bit of detective work on Bruce's part, like that he's able to, or I guess it's kind of like combined, like Bruce had the idea of like checking recent media stuff, and then Terry made the connection with the dog.
Yeah.
So it's like almost like that's kind of like I don't know, Dragon. Let's mark that down. That's like kind of like a rare instance of Batman detectives teaming up. I kind of like that.
It is. It is rather.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay, so we cut to like the dog looking Mad Stan's face, which is great. Just putting the pieces together. Like, okay, that's why he's doing it, because he loves his. Like, Mad Stan's doing all this because he loves his dog.
And the dog again, he's got just like a design that's just a mix of demented and adorable, and I love it.
Yep. All right, so let's see. So okay, so again, Zeta's heading to the Civic Center. Batman, like, he tackles Zeta at the last second to remove the bomb and tosses it right out the window, literally like the last minute possible. Just like, oh yeah, he saved me. Why would he lie? Well, he is mad.
Right.
So then the building's surrounded by the NSA. Like Zeta's kind of trapped here. I love that Zeta's like willing to like face Ben alone so Batman can get away, which is really nice. But that gives Batman an idea.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, man, this ending I really thought was pretty strong in its own right. I really like some of the imagery, like the imagery of the robot riding the Batmobile out. I don't know, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
And also, I just like the idea of like just kind of like this switcheroo, just in general. It's pretty neat.
It's pretty
I'm not
ingenious.
wording it well, but it's cool. It's got the cool points.
It's really clever. It's got a lot of ingenuity to it here. Where
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
we have a thing where they're going to scan them, and it's not going to be Zeta with a holographic projection. It's going to be Terry as a janitor, as like a nameless, faceless janitor. While Batman is allowed to get away because they're not here for Batman; they're here for Zeta. And it worked like a charm. And then we have kind of our after our sly escape there, we're in the park. We destroyed Bennett's tracer that was on the Batmobile. Zeta and Ro, they continue their hunt for Dr. Selleck. And Batman wishes him luck. Ro kisses Batman on the cheek again. Terry McGinnis, man, he can't.
Yeah, yet another potential romantic interest for Terry McGinnis that isn't Dana.
Yeah, he's got to beat him off with a stick.
Okay, look, this I will not fault him at all. This was 100% not on him.
Yeah, the thing, Tiki, much like DG, that's Dick Grayson. The ladies love him.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it's just like Zeta's right. You're a real friend. Smooch, and then leaves. And she's like ranting to Zeta, like, I can't believe you trusted Mad Stan. I mean, the name's a dead giveaway. he seems so cheerful.
That is a really fun bit of cut to credits dialogue to end out on.
Oh, you're so clueless, and that's how it ends. So, now, folks, again, we're not really going to go through all of Shadows here per se, but just overall, again, it's how do you feel about the Shadows episode, Diggy?
About what? Sorry.
The Zeta project.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I really do like it. I think that it's interesting that it takes until about halfway through for Batman to even pop up in it at all, which in a way I feel like is really natural. It doesn't. It kind of just feels like an episode where, yeah, we've already acknowledged that Batman exists in this universe. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's forcing itself to be an event. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I like about it.
Yep. I mean, I like that we have like the infiltration unit 7, which is like the bigger, like bulked up version of Zeta. Basically, it's evil Zeta.
I mean, that episode just in itself is a lot of where I get the Terminator kind of vibes from.
And yeah, I believe he's like a recurring kind of bad guy. Like the other Zeta, it's like mainly Zeta's like replacement that's like it's going after him, and along with Bennett. So yeah, basically he's like framing Zeta, which is kind of causing the misunderstanding between him and Batman, and you get the idea. So it's kind of like the excuse of like we want Batman and Zeta to fight again and kind of challenge the faith that Terry had in him at the end of the initial episode, and I guess that along with Countdown.
Right,
so it's overall it's good. Overall good episode. I don't think it's as good as Countdown because one we don't have Mad Stan. That's the main reason. We need Mad Stan.
I mean, Mad Stan does do a decent bit to elevate this episode for sure.
But I guess the round things out on just the whole event and the whole just thing here is like again shows that Zeta did have legs and was a good spin-off to come out of Batman Beyond.
No, I mean, yeah, I definitely have like a lot more interest in kind of pursuing the Zeta project as its own thing in this episode than I did in his initial introduction episode. I will say that much. He does a good job in that regard.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I don't know, Dragon. Final thoughts. Again, I really feel like this episode kind of. I was not really expecting a lot from this one, just because, again, like I thought the original Zeta project episode it was fine. I just didn't really think it was anything special. But this one, as you already kind of implied, just through the sheer power of Paul Dini and the writing and good dialogue, it really rose to the occasion. It became one of the more memorable episodes of season 3. So yeah, a very pleasant surprise here.
Yeah.
All right. Go
Well,
ahead.
I guess I rounded it out. We're good.
No, if you have any final thoughts, that's fine.
Well, yeah. So again, the Zeta episode is kind of like looking at them here. It's the 3 Zeta episodes that we have. I mean, Countdown I think stood out the most because of Mad Stan. However, the original cell of Zeta was still such an insanely strong cell of the character. It gave us a spin-off, so I can't necessarily. I don't know if I'd rank one over the other, or at least not easily. I think the original Zeta episode has a little bit more teeth to it, but we have a lot more definition of the character with this episode, and I think both are better than the Shadows episodes. Nothing wrong with the Shadows episode. It's just I don't know, just had a little bit more polish. They have Dini on this one, that helps. Now Rich Fogel, again, it kind of
No,
like
I mean, Dini really is the MVP here, just as far as the dialogue goes, as we've established.
And look, I don't want to dogpile like the Jokers onto Rich Fogel. I don't want to do that, but it just kind of shows you that you have 3 writers. You have Bob Goodman, you have Paul Dini, and you have Rich Fogel. Now, Dini again had the initial concept, which then Bob Goodman ran with. So Dini still has like some fingerprints on that premise. So because of that, those episodes I think are a lot stronger, and I think Dini having a lot of input really helped. Now, again, Rich Fogel, we've seen, him. I think it's a very. I think he produced a very standard episode with Shadows. It's a solid episode. That it's the inclusion of Batman. I think is a help. And again, like Fogel's strength, I think kind of lied in the more like DC animated universe kind of side of things beyond just Batman purely. If you really look at his writing, because again, he's a great Justice League guy. He moved on the Justice League from this, and this was like a training ground for him.
Uh-huh.
So it's I don't know, but at the end of the day, yeah, Countdowns is definitely one to remember, and possibly at the end of the day, probably the best of the Mad Stan episodes. It's really good. And Mad Stan is very memorable in this episode. Okay.
Okay, big thanks to Code Geass and Little Blue for joining us in the chat, and take us out. What do we got next?
Batman unmasked, a child in peril, Soldier Sam. Can the Batman save a child from the forces of Cobra?
Oh no.
Will this be the end of Batman Beyond as we know it? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to Batcave Beyond with Unmasked. Tiki Talk Batman. Tiki Talk.